And welcome to a new edition of the Red Mountain Express. This is episode 60. 60 episodes. 60.
Does it feel like 60?
Feels like 120.
Feels like less than that to me because I wasn't here for most of them.
Feel like about 15 to you?
About like 20.
Yeah.
You know what? But with you here, it feels like time has slowed down.
Yeah.
When it's just Matthew, it feels like it just speeds up like a Ferrari.
That's right.
I'm kidding, Matt.
Wait, what?
I'm kidding.
Yeah. I thought that was a good thing.
It is a good thing.
I'm not sure if you're complimenting or insulting.
A little bit of both.
All right.
How was everybody's week? Or at least previous week.
Good.
I spent it in Tallahassee.
I spent mine weekend in Huntsville.
I saw you went to the Rocket Center.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, man.
You love space stuff.
Dude. Well, we did like a little, in Tallahassee, one of the crew members of the Challenger, we actually went to Florida State and was from Tallahassee, so they have like a Challenger museum, and they have like simulations that our company did a retreat, and so that was one of the things we did was a simulation, and y'all can imagine
how geeked
out
you.
because I was the control guy, which got to talk.
Oh, man.
Oh, it was ridiculous. Yeah. We landed on Mars, so
that's cool.
We were excited.
The kids enjoyed it. There's an awesome place in Huntsville if you're up there. It's called Pints and Pixels. I'm sure everybody that's been to Huntsville already knows about it. It's like old school arcade games. Great food. I mean, really surprisingly good food.
It's not too far from where I used to live, and they actually opened up like the month before we moved, and I was very sad about it.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, they had a row of probably 15 pinball machines. And
were your kids at the door going, "Dad, let's go"?
No, the kids were at the door, like going through coins in the X-Men machine, like left and right. It's like he's like, I got to continue grabbing another coin. So it was awesome though. We had a great time, and then we went to the Montesano, and I'm just totally butchering that name. Montesano State Park. Yeah. Saw some deer. We had walked up on like a little baby deer and the mom like walking through the bog. It's pretty cool. So good weekend.
All in the nature, you know.
Weather was perfect.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's kind of feeling like fall. Not totally.
We're getting there. I took a walk today, and it was just about too hot to stand it, or humid. Maybe a mixture of both, but we're getting there. The mornings have been nice.
Getting close.
I think 2 Saturdays from now, we're supposed to be in the 40s.
Oh, that would be amazing.
It would be amazing. That's coffee drinking.
And that was
weather.
our week of fall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then it'll be like it'll go back to like 80 degrees after that.
Right.
So we have some stories we want to cover before we get to our interview later on in the episode. Now, Patrick, before the show, you were mentioning some new eateries around town. What do you got for me?
Yeah, so the Preservery, which is a hard name to say, is actually moving out of the Pizitz Food Hall. They were in the Reveal Kitchen, which is sponsored by Rev Birmingham, and they are moving to the old Fuego building, which is in 5 Points South, right next to Highlands Bar and Grill and Chez Fonfon, and actually in the same building there, I think. So this is a pretty big jump for them from a little bitty spot in the Pizitz to
the heart of
the heart of 5 Points. I mean, that's
what kind of food is the Preservery?
So I think it's I don't want to call it just purely soul food, but I think it's kind of a creative spin on soul food. I think it's,
if I'm not mistaken, they had some healthier options too.
Yep.
Why would you want to do healthier options when they have awesome soul food?
Look, it's not us sitting at this table, but there is a movement around the populace that enjoys healthy food now. Clearly, it's not us. I didn't get a chance to eat at the Preservery when they're in the Pizitz, and that's my own fault. Usually when I go in the Pizitz, I have in mind I either want Ono Poke or the standard, and so I don't really branch out and try the new stuff. I should have, yeah.
But yeah, they call it elevated soul food, but now that they'll be in sort of their own restaurant space, they'll be able to serve appetizers and have a full bar and all that. So they'll have dessert options as well. So this is pretty big news for them.
I think it just also shows you what Pizitz is doing for food culture in Birmingham. I mean, how many? This is like the second restaurant or third restaurant that's jumped from the Reveal Kitchen to their own spot. Yeah, I mean, it's an incubator for great restaurants.
Right. I mean, that's the whole idea, and it's done great. Tropicalio, which is right over by Cahaba Brewery, over in Crestwood, started there, and they've had a couple more restaurants in there. It's really cool. The Preservery also was a graduate from Create Birmingham's Co-Starters program, which is also a good way to, if you're starting a business, it's a good place to go check out. They really help, I think, people get their feet under them, get the business part of it, take it from an idea to really a full-fledged business. So I'm excited about this. I can't wait to go try it.
Do we know when it opens? Is there an opening date?
They're saying early 2019, so I don't know what exactly that means, but probably be a few months, but hopefully soon.
Yeah, you say early 2019, and I'm thinking, man, that's a year away.
That's not that far away, man.
We're really close.
I looked up at the calendar this morning. I was like, it's October.
It's like time to start buying Christmas presents.
I think Blake, probably you have your Christmas decorations up already, right?
Yes, I do. We are 87 days away.
Yeah.
In other food news, Wenzel's Oyster House. We talked about this months ago.
Back
about
in year
Wenzel's.
one.
Yeah, Wenzel's going to bring a bunch of new stores to the Birmingham area, and now they're opening up a location in Cahaba Heights. The StoryNail.com says as early as next month. It's going to be in the former Fresco Mexican Modern Space in Heights Village. And this is great. I love Wenzel's. Do you know where that is, Patrick?
Yeah. It's over in the same shopping center as the Starbucks. Kind of
really?
behind the Dairy Queen there.
Oh, okay.
Is that kind of across from, what's that other restaurant over there that's all
Satterfield's.
Satterfield's, which is
it's
awesome.
kind of a little bit down the hill from
Yeah.
Satterfield's, but right there.
Yeah, I love Wenzel's. My wife worked at Wenzel's when we were in college in Tuscaloosa, and I can down 24 oysters like nobody's business.
I've never been to one. Not a big fan of oysters, but
How are you not a fan of oysters?
I mean, I would go check it out.
Oysters.
We had one in Huntsville that I went to. I'm not a big oyster fan. I know we've talked about this. They don't do it for me, but I'm glad that a Wenzel's is opening up back there. I think it's a good location for it. Cahaba Heights is a really cool area. I don't think it gets enough traffic sometimes.
Yeah.
But they've got some cool restaurants back there.
I think that'll be good. It might bring some other people to that area. Also building a Chick-fil-A in Cahaba Heights too.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Where in Cahaba Heights?
Over on, I think it's Crosshaven, where next to the Zaxby's.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
I have never heard of a Chick-fil-A closing,
No.
So
They just print money.
It is print money over there. In non-restaurant news,
have some of that.
In disaster news, there was a humongous fire in Lakeview this weekend, or actually no, it was actually this past week.
Thursday.
There's an unfinished apartment complex, which I think we have covered at some point in this show.
Right. Yeah. It's right across from like Babalu
right.
and the Hattie B's.
And it was a 2-alarm fire. I mean, it completely destroyed the business.
Yeah,
right?
the building's one story now. It's flat. I mean, it's gone.
The building apparently was about 80% complete. It was just missing doors, windows, and sheetrock inside, is what the story says on ABC.
They've been working on this construction for quite a while. Apparently, there's been some delays here and there because I think projected completion was like 18 months, and it's maybe been 2 years now.
Yeah.
So the fact that it didn't have the sheetrock and the doors and windows inside, they say also may have contributed to the fact that the fire spread so quickly, because they say it started around 12:30 and it was massive before I think the firefighters really even got to it.
And I think that they had to stay on site until the early morning. Just
it was
to
about 7 a.m. They were still dealing with hot spots.
I think one of the nearby law offices was damaged a little bit, but the other building in this complex was not damaged, or didn't have a lot of damage, because I think there's two kind of right side by side there.
I think there's the law office and then maybe the apartment complex's manager's office, and I think the law office was destroyed along with the apartments. I'm not sure about the manager's office there, or where everything connects.
Do they know what started the fire, or is this or do they think this is an insurance?
I think they're investigating it.
Yeah.
I saw something on the news this morning. They were
Or did someone
investigating.
show
They
up
had the
with a gas
dogs down
can?
there with. They said they hadn't found anything of interest yet, but
So
they were
what's this
definitely
gas can
investigating.
doing here?
I mean, it. With the way you describe it, I mean, this project going on too long, it seems like that's quite a possibility.
There's a lot of
Kinda
speculation on different Birmingham-related forums that talk about, or people casually throwing out allegations of insurance fraud. And a few people that will get on the forums and claim to be involved with builders of one sort or another and say, no, that would be a stupid idea. You don't get this far in a project and then try and claim insurance. And then a lot of them pointed out...
Changed my mind. I bet you there have been
a lot of them pointed out, or a few of them pointed out, that in an incident like this, most of the insurance companies for a project like this would make you, replace and rebuild before you ever saw insurance money. So it really wouldn't be worth it unless you found a way to cheap out on materials the next time around. which seems like a long way around for that.
So essentially, you're going to have to replace it. So the insurance money does.
So this is probably a random cigarette butt, we think.
Yeah, there's lots of you could throw out fun theories, but I don't know that it was insurance related. But you never know. So the Birmingham Fire and Rescue Captain Harold Watson told ABC that they are investigating, obviously, and this investigation will take at least a week, if not more. It'll be interesting to see if we, the public, find out anything else about it, or if there's anything to find out, if it wasn't just a random like cigarette butt or lightning strike or something.
I mean, the best news for me was that the building was completely unoccupied. So that was my first thing. Was like, oh my god, that's.
I think
crazy.
I think one of the firefighters broke his leg and
broke a leg and 2 ankles. He was hospitalized, and they also damaged one of the ladder trucks just from the heat from the blaze.
Golly, well, I mean, it was massive. I saw someone put a video on, maybe it was Twitter or Instagram, where somebody was a long way away, and it looked like the sun over there.
That was huge.
And you said there's a drone coverage, right?
Somebody on Reddit had posted some drone footage, and it was respecting the fact that this is a terrible event for people that are actually involved in it. It was a really great piece of footage to be able to see the fire from that vantage point.
But terrible for all those involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll move on. We'll give you an update if we hear about any insurance fraud or find the cause of the fire, or if the company decides to rebuild the apartment complex. In other property news, I guess we want to say, the old Liberty National Insurance building downtown, speaking of insurance, is trying to find tenants to fill the building. And right now, the city is trying to lure 2 governmental agencies to move their offices into that building. They're both part of the United States Department of Agriculture. They're the National Institute for Food and Agriculture and the Economic Research Service. Their leases are expiring in the D.C. area soon, and if you've ever been to D.C., you understand how expensive D.C. can be. And so now they're trying to go after them and to put them into this spot. So I think that's good, trying to go out and get because the government always pays normally.
Yeah. Until they get shut down. The great news about this, if we could lure both of these agencies here, that would bring about 600 new jobs to the area. On top of that, it would put somebody in this Liberty National building, which is a really cool building. It's been empty since 2010.
Right. Now, would that bring 600 new jobs, or just? I mean, I imagine a lot of those employees might transfer down here.
I would assume that some would transfer. I'm not sure how many. But yeah, I mean,
it's gonna bring some new
you're bringing people into
600 new citizens to our wonderful city.
Yeah. Potentially, some combination of people transferring in, people getting hired into those positions, and then people in the area, hopefully.
Yeah.
Weren't they having trouble with bricks falling from this building at one point?
I had not heard.
I mean, I think I've heard that. But what I'm saying is that I know that this building has been in need of repair and renovation, and I think if you can get 2 tenants that are good and stable
government
tenants, it will kind of give the kick it needs to kind of get that cleared up, so you can get these people in there as fast as possible. So it's good. I hope it's a good idea. I hope we can get it done. So I guess we'll look in the news for that.
Speculation says that the USDA is looking to make their decision by the fall of 2019. So not soon, but
just right on government speed.
Right. They'll make the decision. They'll still have to wait.
It's going to take a year, so this will be here in 3 to 5 years.
Right.
What is the line from Charlie Wilson's War? Why is Congress saying one thing and doing nothing? Goes, well, it's tradition mostly. So, anyway. A follow-up on a story we did last week is the city of Birmingham has partnered with Alabama Power and the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office to install cameras in what part of the city is it, Matthew? Do we know? Right, I know we do know. But
so part of the update, last week we read the different locations where these be going, and
it's happening.
Well, so the update is yes, it's happening. It was voted on by 6 members of the city council unanimously.
You still can't say it.
That was difficult.
Preservery, unanimously.
Preservery. Last week was Birmingham Irons. Irons. My wife made fun of me after hearing the episode. I just want y'all to know
Your wife listens?
Oh, yeah. She's on it now.
Does Liz not listen?
No.
Okay.
So last week we mentioned that they were looking at Central Park, Inslee, Gate City, Kingston. This week, though, after the meeting, Hunter Williams said that the contract's language had been changed during the session so that it did not name specific neighborhoods, and it would give the Birmingham Police Department flexibility in where they wanted to put these cameras.
Yeah. So, I don't know if they did that just for publicity or like, oh, we're not targeting these areas, but we're definitely going to put them in these areas. We're just not going to tell you that we're putting them in these areas.
Yeah. I mean, I know they want to keep these somewhat secretive where they're going up, so they're not targeted immediately. Not to say that they would be, but to at least avoid that temptation. A lot of the language that you see Hunter Williams using talks about the flexibility and the ability to expand this and let other Birmingham areas get in on it if they want to. So I think he is trying to leave that window open to make it expandable, but yeah, I'm with you. It's kind of suspicious. Okay.
Suspicious.
Well, okay, no, in so much as like, I can't remember. A man from Inslee, one of their leaders, had made a statement. Basically said, "We don't have that big of a crime problem. We don't need these cameras. What we need is money to go towards paving the streets and new lights and
tearing down old buildings,
buildings, education for our younger citizens." And so I think for this to be approved and then for somebody in the city council to come back and say, well, now we're not naming the areas, that does kind of get you off the hook from leaders in those areas that didn't want these cameras.
Well, and didn't want the, I think, negative attention saying, oh, yeah, these areas are bad. We have to put up cameras to monitor these areas where we know there's high crime. But I think it kind of puts a stigma on those different neighborhoods that may not have the same crime problems that they are perceived to have or maybe had at one point.
Well, I will say that I was kind of shocked to see that there was not any contention among city council members, but also how it was unanimous. So, I mean...
We still can't say that word.
I said unanimous, right? Didn't I?
No, unanimous?
What'd I say?
Unanimous?
Unanimous.
Okay.
I said it right the first time. Check the recording. Check the recording.
Check the tape.
Check the tape. But that it was unanimous, and that there was not any contention
of the 6 members in the meeting.
Yeah, well, was the 7th member, is that the district it's affecting?
I'm not sure. I didn't have a list of who didn't show up.
What kind of journalist are we?
We're not.
We're not, exactly. Maybe we should have Hunter on the show and
maybe
ask him questions about it. I'm just saying. I would like to see more on the story. They have mentioned that if you want to see the entire contract, you can request it from the city department, and they will show it to you. I want to know, they said that the original cameras are going to go up in Central Park, Inslee, Gate City, Kingston neighborhoods. Is there other neighborhoods that have been added to the list? Well, is it certain? Is it just the call of the Birmingham City Police Department of where they want to put them? So that's my next question.
So the contract's language has been changed,
right,
and it's supposed to be up to the Birmingham Police Department.
So
I guess looking at the contract, you wouldn't be able to tell. You just have to wait until the cameras go up and try and
just don't run any red lights around town.
So
they're not for traffic.
I was about to say, interesting enough,
the interesting thing.
Another part to the story was that Hunter Williams clarified that the traffic cameras would not be used or didn't have the ability to do traffic enforcement. They would only be used to identify vehicles that were involved in crimes.
So basically, if you run a red light and somebody sees you run a red light, these cameras might find out where you are, but
they can't give you a ticket.
But they're not
one of those
specific. They're not
the red light
cameras
that are terrible and awful and that I can't stand.
Right, the ones that indiscriminately give you a ticket if you
that makes me so
creep
mad.
past the line too far.
Exactly.
Get your time.
So just as we said last week, the cameras are still slated to be installed in the next 90 days. The program is expected to cost the city $672,000 annually, paid in installments of $56,000 per month. And of course, Councilman Williams said that the program will be open to expansion.
I still think it's a lot of money. I think it's too much money for cameras.
Expansion.
But that's me.
It's a whole lot of money,
and especially if we're talking about expanding it too. I mean, that's going to be more money. This is just a start,
and it's still a very contentious subject, I think. And until,
but it's not. I mean, if they all voted.
Well, it's not for the council members, but I think for citizens.
Here's my next question, and I didn't see this. How many citizens were at the meeting?
It was a closed meeting.
Oh, no, but they had an executive session, and then they voted in public, right?
I don't believe so. I believe they voted in the executive meeting or session.
Well, We'll have to look more.
Fact check me if you want, but
I'm not disagreeing with you.
It says after spending an hour in a closed executive session.
And so they claim to do it all in closed executive session to maintain the security of the cameras and the contract and everything that's going into it.
All the shadiness of it.
Right. I can see a lot of shadiness to it. I also can see that makes sense. You want to keep certain things under wraps if you can.
Well, it says they passed it after spending a meeting. So I imagine that they discussed it and then they came out and then they voted. And I want to know, did they allow comment on it? And if they did allow comment, was there anybody there to comment? And if there wasn't, this is the problem we have with, with politics these days, is just general apathy.
Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah, do you call it apathy?
Yeah, I do call it apathy. I mean,
if nobody showed up, then
no one shows up,
don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
Or they couldn't get off work to go down to the meeting.
Some things are worth.
We're going to send Blake Westbrook as our special correspondent for the city council.
Camera watch.
He'll be at every meeting from now on.
That's not going to happen. No. Well, anyway, we will continue to follow this story
I'm sure
as it unfolds, and or as cameras get put up, and we'll let Patrick go and wear like a cool T-shirt.
I'm sure you could get some archive footage of the meeting if you'd like, or a transcript.
I'm sure we can, or we can just go and get the contract.
Yeah,
and read that as well, because that's what I want to do in my time off, is read a city contract.
So wrapping up that story.
Sorry.
Of course, last week we recorded early. We did not have a chance to get with Happenings in the Ham to get the upcoming events for the week. This week, they so graciously had everything available and ready for us early, which works out because, again, this week we're recording earlier than we normally do. So let's get into these events. Of course, they're brought to you by Happenings in the Ham. You can find more of these events and more details at their website, happeningsintheham.com. And, of course, we will link that from our show notes.
Yeah. The first event is the Greek Food Festival, which is one of my favorite events of all time in Birmingham.
I try to go every year.
And I think we're going to try to go, on next Friday or Saturday. But it's Thursday through Saturday, October 4th through the 6th. It's going to be at the Greek Orthodox can't even speak today, guys.
Unanimous.
It's going to be at the Greek Orthodox Cathedral. The Birmingham Greek Festival began in 1972 as one of the oldest cultural food festivals and most highly anticipated Southeast event. The festival is an act of love of Birmingham's Greek community going back 4 generations, preparing authentic Greek cuisine. And let me just tell you something. It's really, really good food.
It's really good food. The baklava is awesome.
And the loukamatis, which is, I think that's how you say it.
It's
amazing. I could say unanimous and can't say unanimous. We say that. They're basically fried dough with cinnamon on top and honey and cinnamon. It's really, really good. Go downtown. It's really, really good. It's for the Greek Orthodox Church, so just check it out.
So coming up at the Pizitz Food Hall, there's Moonlight Movies, Thursday, October 4th at 7:30 p.m. The cost is free, my favorite price for anything. I can't read this.
Hey, you guys! What movie's coming, Patrick?
The Goonies. It's one of my all-time favorite movies
ever. This is our time. Our time.
Yeah, down here. Anyway.
Down here.
So it's part of a 6-week fall movie series, Moonlight Movies. It says make a date for dinner, drinks, and a movie as all at the Pizitz Food Hall courtyard. Folding chairs encouraged. There will be a weekly themed cocktail from the Louis Bar. And Naughty But Nice kettle corn will be popping up in the courtyard for your snack needs. So,
hey, Patrick.
Yes.
Do the truffle shuffle.
No.
Do the truffle shuffle.
Do it.
He's doing it right now.
He's doing it right now.
He's doing
it right now. Oh, my God, he's doing it.
Pictures of power.
Saturday, October 6th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., 55th Annual Bluff Park Art Show. This is going to be at the Bluff Park Community Center. This will bring more than 150 artists to the community in Bluff Park and Hoover, Alabama. Art enthusiasts, both new and experienced, can enjoy an early fall day to view and buy fine art while enjoying the wholesomeness of the historic Bluff Park community. The Bluff Park Art Show is free and open to the public. Free shuttles are available to bring people to the park as there is no parking available at the park. That's a lot of parks. So I live in this community. Blake, you live
in this community.
I have been to this art show twice. How many times have you been?
3 or 4.
It's a great show. The people
fantastic.
involved are juried, which basically you submit and you're judged and then you're selected. You've got craftsmen, artists. I think sometimes they have some musical acts, right?
Yes, they used to have like a jazz band there, but I don't think they do that anymore. But also, it's just a really good part of the community. They have buses that shuttle you from around parts of Hoover, and even better, when you're like walking up to the park where they have it, there's a lot of people that live around there that'll like sit out there and like give you free coffee, and it's just a really good community thing. And I enjoyed it every year.
It's really cool. There also are, or at least have been in the past, some food trucks available. So if you get there and you're hungry.
Patrick, put on your lederhosen and join the Birmingham's biggest German theme party, the Birmingham Oktoberfest. It's going to be at Railroad Park. The cost is $21, and I believe this is be held on Saturday, October 6th. They'll have a variety of delicious beers, German food, live music, and Oktoberfest-themed games and activities at Railroad Park. So Patrick will be there in his lederhosen doing the truffle shuffle.
Why am I getting abused on this show?
Because I get abused before and after the show.
The Shelby Humane Society is having Bark in the Park Saturday, October 6th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The cost, again, is free, my favorite price. It's at the Beneful Alabaster Dream Dog Park. So Shelby Humane Society, along with the City of Alabaster and Best Friends of Shelby Humane, are hosting Bark in the Park at Veterans Park in Alabaster. Is that... like I said, the event is free. All dogs must be on a leash. Things to enjoy at this year's Bark in the Park include pet adoptions with Shelby Humane Society. Don't tell my wife that, so she doesn't go get a dog. Low-cost vaccine and microchip clinic. Lines cut off at 11:30 a.m., so keep that in mind. There's a kid zone, dog costume contest with prizes, a $5 entry donation. Weenie dog races. That's what it says. Weenie dog races with prizes with a $10 entry donation and food trucks. Always. And Beneful Dog Park and the Animal Blessings.
I think Wesley and Nathan need a dog.
That's a dangerous game to play, Blake.
Liz doesn't listen to this show, so I mean...
All right, so last on our list, Sunday, October 7th from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. is Vulcan Aftertunes. This is going to be at Vulcan Parking Museum. The cost is $12. Grab your blankets and lawn chairs and head to Vulcan Park for the 14th annual Vulcan Aftertunes concert series. This week brings you Iron Horse, a high-energy bluegrass band from Killen, Alabama, will headline the second installment. Will Stewart, one of Rolling Stone's 10 country artists you need to know, will start the music off in proper order. We talked about this last year a little bit. I never made it to one of the shows. Did either one of y'all?
I did not.
Nope.
But I hear it's awesome.
Yeah, I hear it's great. I saw several people talking about it or heard people talking about it. I would like to try and go to one this year. We'll see what happens.
I think it'll be cool. Hopefully the weather will be nice this weekend. Maybe it'll cool down a little bit. And
the rain will hold off.
It'll probably be nice, and then it'll rain.
As soon as you get to one of these events.
Yeah. So let's take a break from Patrick doing the truffle shuffle and Matthew and I not be able to pronounce words properly. And let's hear about the new podcast from Reckon Radio, Greek Gods, which we covered last week. And then we'll be back with Christopher Kyle and Gracie Johnsey from First Light Women's Shelter. We'll see you in a second.
Don't miss Greek Gods, a new narrative podcast from our friends at Reckon Radio. Greek Gods is an examination of the Machine, a secret society that has been described as the most powerful fraternity in America, with tentacles reaching to the State House, Washington, and beyond. It's hosted by Amy Yurkinen and 2018 Pulitzer Prize winner John Archibald. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, or your favorite podcast service. Just search for Reckon Radio.
And welcome back to the second half of the Red Mountain Express. We are excited today to have Christopher Kyle and Gracie Johnsey joining us today from First Light's Shelter's Young Partners. So before we get started on hearing about the new special event that's coming up, kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, your story of how you came to Birmingham and how you got involved with First Light.
I'll start. I'm Christopher Kyle. I moved to Birmingham in the spring of 2014. When I first got involved with First Light, I had a coworker who invited me to come with the Young Partners Board. And we've been working on this event for the past 4 years. That's how I got involved with First Light.
My name is Gracie Johnsey. I grew up right outside of Birmingham, been here my entire life. I joined the Young Partners just this year as my first year with them, and came about from an existing member that I knew from college. And once I found out she was involved, and at the time I was looking for something to get involved in, and it just worked out perfectly. So here I am.
So for our listeners who do not know what First Light Shelter is, can you kind of give us kind of an overview of what they do, what kind of services they provide, and who they partner with?
Sure. First Light is the only 24-hour shelter in Birmingham. It's located downtown for homeless women and their children, and it's much more than a place to sleep. They provide every guest with wraparound social services from qualified professionals. It's individualized care, so they really try to help them get to a self-sustaining place where they can go out on their own and be beneficial members of society.
Additionally, First Light has over 1,000 volunteers every year to ensure that the guests know that they're a part of a caring community.
Cool. So tell us about the event that's coming up. The event is Dancing with the Stars of the Magic City. I think I got that right.
Yes.
Tell us what that is and where it's going to be.
Well, the event is called Dancing with the Stars of the Magic City. It's going to be held October 11th. Doors open at 5:30. The show starts at 6:30. And what the event is we've recruited 10 stars around town, and this is not necessarily household names, but people with a broad network, and we've encouraged them to invite all their friends and anybody else in the community that wants to come out and support them and First Light. And it's essentially a Dancing with the Stars themed dance competition. The teams have raised some money going into the event, and we encourage our audience to vote with their dollars for what we're calling the coveted People's Choice Torch Award, which is the best prize, the most desirable prize of them all. And that prize goes to the person who has raised the most money for First Light. Then we also have some judges' prizes to first, second place, and they're judged on the choreography, the performance overall, execution, things of that nature.
Who are the judges? Are there like special judges, or is it just by dollars?
Our judges, we have one participant from last year, Brad White, who's an executive with Lucky and Company. And
also have Stefan Grebel. He has been a choreographer for 60 plus years, originally from Serbia.
And we have one additional judge who's cousin of one of our members, Young Partners, and she has a lot of dance experience. I think it's going to be great for our show.
Yeah, I've been to this event before. Actually, the last 2 years that you've had it, it's an awesome event. It's a lot of fun. But you got a new venue this year, right? It's going to be at the Lyric Theater.
Yes, absolutely. The last 2 years it's been at Old Car Heaven. This is our first year at the Lyric, and we're extremely excited because it's going to be going to have that a lot more of the performance feel to it. And whereas in the past it's been more people walking around, maybe watching if they get a chance, but this will be everyone focused on the stage. So we'll see how the dancers prepare for that.
Is it a family-friendly venue and event?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We encourage everyone to bring kids. We've got a station set up for people to make signs, support their favorite team. Kids definitely get involved. We've got people standing up dancing. In the past, it's been absolutely a family-friendly event. We expect that this year as well.
And also, intermission, etc. During the event, there will be performances from an actual kids group from Birmingham Dance Theater, as well as
our opening act will be the Disco Amigos. It was more of an adult act, but they're really fun. Going to get the show started off.
What are the Disco Amigos?
I follow them on Instagram.
Are they pretty
I'm
cool?
familiar, yeah.
So Tony Dennis is one of our stars this year, and she is the founding member of the Disco Amigos Birmingham chapter. They actually originated in New Orleans, and they have a great mission. They're just spreading disco vibes around the community.
They seem like a very lively group.
Yes,
all the pictures
we're
are
very excited to have all the
Should be
Disco
lots of fun.
Amigos involved this year.
Do y'all have kind of a number you're wanting to raise for this event? I mean, is there like a goal, or is it just kind of
as much as possible?
Just or as much as possible?
Obviously, as much as possible. Our first year, we ended up netting about $20,000 for the shelter. Our second year, we netted about $30,000. So if we stay on that pace, we're hoping for at least 40 this year.
Well, that's great. That's awesome. So, last year this is at Old Car Heaven. This year's at the Lyric Theater. Are you seeing some sort of growth when it comes to attendance on this event? I mean, because the Lyric Theater can pack it out, right? I mean, I'm just kind of hoping that y'all see a lot of more people, that kind of show up and maybe participate by their dollars.
Yes, we are hopeful for that as well. We want to fill the theater up because if we do not, it will be very noticeable. It is a very large venue.
So how can people get more involved in First Light, and where can they go to find more information on this wonderful event with Dancing with the Stars?
People can find information about the event on our Facebook page. If you just search First Light, Dancing with the Stars of the Magic City, it should come right up for you. Tickets, there are links to buy tickets on that Facebook event page, and also through First Light's website, which is firstlight.org.
Well, thank y'all so much for coming. We really do appreciate it. Tell us again when the event is.
The event is October 11th. Doors at 5:30. Show starts at 6:30.
And can you buy tickets at the door? Is that right?
You can buy tickets at the door, or again online at our Facebook page, First Light Dancing with the Stars of the Magic City, or firstlight.org. There's a link from the homepage there to buy tickets.
And we'll link to that in the show notes as well.
And I have one request: is that next year you make Patrick or Matthew be able to dance.
I think Blake would be the best choice.
Absolutely.
Twinkle Toes over here.
Twinkle Toes. You have to get a figure.
And we are taking suggestions for next year's stars at the event or via Facebook
I am
page.
stuffing the ballot box right now. Well, thank y'all so much for coming on today. And like you said, we'll link to the Facebook page and the First Light webpage to our website as well. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of the Red Mountain Express. Like we've always said, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our webpage at redmountainexpress.com. For Matthew Joyner and Patrick Tucker, this is Blake Westbrook. We'll see you next week.